got some better in style. I should think about pride. I do. Things get better with time. Yet souls never undying. It's a haiku. These thoughts never can die. These tears never gonna dry when I lose you. Some hearts double inside. Your short head grow inch line with the Grinch do. I don't have time cause the race do. Factor in lines that are bear fruit. On the way up, slugfest.
Welcome back to the Monday Evening Football Daily Show. It is October 21st. We had a great Thursday night football game last night. We got an exciting round of games on Sunday. And I'm going to a pumpkin patch today. So, hey, it's going to be a good Friday. And I just need you all to realize that it's going to be a good Friday because, 1, sports, 2, pumpkin patches, and 3, a little bit of that caffeine, you know what I'm saying? Delicious, delicious. Okay, here's what we got on the docket today. Obviously, we're going to go over that Saints-Cardinals game that was high-scoring, that if you watched the episode yesterday, I gave you one lock, and that lock was the over, because I knew these teams were going to come out firing, especially with DeAndre Hopkins back. You know, the Saints not really having their go-to guys. It was going to get spread around the field a little more. Andy Dalton throwing a couple interceptions. Not great, especially ones that get picked and ran back for a touchdown. It's hard to win football games that way. Obviously, Bears fans know what Andrew Dalton brings to the table when it comes to playing some football. But he also did throw 4 touchdowns, 361 yards, but those 3 interceptions ultimately what kind of caused the Cardinals the game, or not the Cardinals, the Saints the game. But did, Kyler Murray, was he shouting at his coach, calm the fuck down? And it turns out after you watch the clip, yeah, he was. He definitely was. A couple of gladiators in a passionate moment of trying to win a football game, saying some stuff that both of them have heard before, and probably just guys, being guys and trying to get the right call. He sees his coach being a little, antsy, a little nervous, a little too energetic. Hey, coach. We got to calm down. Calm the fuck down, actually. We got to calm down. So, do I not think it was great that Kyler said that to Kliff Kingsbury? No, and after in their press conferences, they both acknowledged that, no, we're good. So, or I think so. I think they just kind of swept it under the rug, which I think that's really all that the attention that needs to be called to that story. But yeah, Kyler Murray coming out, having 204 yards, 1 touchdown, efficient. The Cardinals defense being the storyline of that game, really being able to make that team go, and also really lock in for that over for us because, that was the lock that I gave you. And I don't miss too much, and I know later you're thinking, okay, cool, he's probably got another Scotty O's Football Sunday 12-leg parlay for us later in the show. You know what? You would be right. You would be right because we definitely have that for you. And Robert Saleh announcing a member of his team not going to be playing this Sunday. Elijah Moore won't play this Sunday for the Jets. He asked for a trade due to lack of targets early on in the week. Missed the day. He said he's reported back to the training facilities today. And you got to like this young guy, Elijah Moore, coming out and saying, hey, give me some more targets or get me out of here. Obviously, I'm not fitting in your game plan well, or I'm not doing something to get me fit in the game plan well. Either let me know what it is or ship me on out. And Robert Saleh is like, whoa. Hold the brakes. You're not going anywhere. But also, we got to figure out where you stand because right now, you're not playing on Sunday either. So, tough spot for Elijah Moore. I don't know if it's Robert Saleh kind of like, not calling a bluff, but being like, hey, you're not getting traded, but you're also not going to play because I don't think you're fully bought in. Don't really know what's going on there in New York. I know the Jets have had some rather nice wins lately. I mean, Elijah Moore upset about his targets, wants to be targeted more. I understand, but they've been winning, so it's usually that winning cures all. But apparently, when you think you're not getting enough targets, you're not getting enough targets. Let's see here. We've had our discussions with Elijah. Trading him is not an option. Elijah will not play this week. He's in the building. He is excused for meetings, but he's going through a workout. He'll rejoin the team on Monday. So I like to think that is a good sign, saying, hey, we'll just both take a breather this week, and then let's get back to work and see how we can get you going. And speaking of getting going, this trade, I mean, it has been rumored for this past week. The rumors have been coming on strong. And did the 49ers just get a whole lot better by trading for Christian McCaffrey? I think they might have. I think Christian McCaffrey and that style offense is going to go bananas, first of all. It's going to go him and Debo back there. So the Niners sent a second, a third, a fourth-round pick in the 2023 draft, and they sent a fifth-round pick in the 2024 draft for Christian McCaffrey. I heard the Panthers really wanted a number one, essentially getting all of that and some for Christian McCaffrey in that trade. Obviously, the Carolina Panthers are in rebuild mode, and they are getting everyone out pretty much. And I got to imagine a guy like DJ Moore is like, when's it going to be my opportunity? Those are the memes I'm seeing going around on the internet. And seeing, Christian McCaffrey get shipped out, Robbie Anderson get shipped out. It's interesting. But that Carolina Panthers team definitely in a rebuild. Again, unfortunately, you hate to see it, but maybe the moves they're making will give them a push to make a run at the end of the season here. And who knows what can happen. It's the NFL, gosh darn it. And sometimes you see stuff like that pay off. And wouldn't it be kind of cool to see the Panthers team of new, with their newly fresh draft picks that they got in return for Christian McCaffrey, maybe they go on a little run. But that 49ers team is going to be a run-strong offense. It's going to work very well. I'll be excited to see what Christian McCaffrey can do in that offense, how it helps Jimmy G. I'm sure they're going to be pretty excited, and I'm sure 49ers fans are pretty ecstatic about the new acquisition of Christian McCaffrey. Going coast to coast, it's going to be different. It's different on that East Coast than it is on that West Coast. But I think Christian McCaffrey will be able to handle it. Apparently he did go to Stanford, so it's not too crazy for him there to be back over on that side of the states, if you know what I'm saying. Speaking of Christian McCaffrey, no, I'm just kidding. That's just a unique way to segue into the next story that we have. But the NFLPA selected their chief health equity officer, which don't really know who that is, but we're going to find out here together. And they have selected Colonel Dr. Sidney Hinds as their first chief health equity officer, coming in to help with the NFL's mission to keep players safe, obviously. Let's see here. Dr. Hinds will play an instrumental role in the NFLPA's health and safety advocacy, including monitoring the care provided to players by NFL clubs and their medical staff, reviewing and analyzing relevant health and safety data, and serving as a member on all of the union's relevant health and safety committees. So definitely I think this is an action being taken by the NFLPA because obviously we saw with the Tua stuff and a couple other injuries that probably could have been prevented, Tyrod Taylor being one of them. When he was with the Chargers, is the NFL saying, hey, we need a person in charge here to make sure we are putting more guidelines in place, but also keeping these players healthy and making sure these guidelines that are in place are being followed to a T. That way they can commit to the health and safety of the players. Or is it all fugazi? I don't know. I think this guy's, right on the money. Dr. Hinds, he spent his career In the military, putting systems and processes in place for America's most elite athletes, our war fighters and their families. So that's something that's, good. It's going to help to be able to put these processes in place for these players, keep them safe, keep the NFL trending in the right direction. And I think that's ultimately what everybody wants. And speaking of what everybody wants something different, okay? Like some guys, they want to be invited by their old team back and to do ceremonies and stuff like that because they have this proudness with it. But that's not the case for former Washington Commanders tight end Chris Cooley, who recently got invited back to a team ceremony at the stadium, and he, respectfully declined, said he enjoyed his time in Washington playing there. But as of right now, he just doesn't want to do anything with the team in its current state or the current state that it's been in. He has absolutely no interest, which I think is something that's really awesome that Chris Cooley is doing, because you got to stand for something at the end of the day. Whatever that may be, he's deciding to take a stand against a team that maybe isn't ran, the best. It's definitely not ran the best because obviously they don't have multiple Super Bowls and stuff like that. But obviously there's some stuff that's obviously going to come out from players, ex-players, ex-coaches, front office members. It's just going to happen, and seems to be the starting of it where, Chris Cooley just declines to come back for a team thing. Sparks interest. Why is he not coming back? Oh, well, this guy also played for Washington. He tells his story. His story's like, oh, boy. Then it starts spiraling, and I think this is the beginning of the end for Dan Snyder, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it on the calendar. I think by this February meeting, they have some good dirt on the man, and then they can kind of proceed with having him sell his team and things like that. So we're optimistic. We're optimistic about it, obviously. But now, for a segment that is taking the internet by storm, and obviously having a record of 8-4 last week not being good enough because, well, obviously if you do math, 8-4 add up to be 12, and 12-0 is better than 8-4, and we need 12 legs of this to hit for our parlay to hit. So, coming back to you now with one of the most electric segments in the internet show world at the moment, Scotty O's Football Sunday 12-leg parlay, presented to you by Future Sponsor. So, here we go. Let's break it down. Let's get into these games. We're going to wrap it up. You guys are going to have the best weekend that you've ever had in your life coming up right here. And for me, it's starting with going to a pumpkin patch, maybe walking the dogs. But for all of us, it starts right here. So you can lock in with me on this 12-legger of all 12-leggers. And we could reign in the promised land together. All right, here's what we got. Here's where we're going with it. Let me get the schedule pulled up here. I have it, but I wanted to do something a little different, be able to get a little more input into these so people know, like, hey, this is why I'm at where I'm at, So, okay, here we go. First game we have is the Browns versus the Ravens. Now, I believe that Browns versus Ravens, I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Nick Chubb. I think Lamar Jackson takes another week to still get it figured out. That is why I'm going with Jacoby Brissett and the Cleveland Browns and this one over the Baltimore Ravens. And a lot of people might give me flack, but we'll just have to see on Sunday. Hey, it's not Scotty O's Football Sunday 12-leg parlay presented by Future Sponsor for nothing. So, that gets us to our next game. Tampa Bay versus the Carolina Panthers. Both these teams kind of tend to be in shambles a little bit. Obviously, we saw the videos of Tom Brady ripping apart his offensive line, even though he doesn't show up to practices on Wednesday. Not a great look. Now Christian McCaffrey and the Carolina Panthers, no longer an item. So I have to go with Tom being a veteran, being able to bounce back this week. But don't underestimate those Cats from Carolina, okay? Because they are going to play strong, and I think they kind of enjoy what's kind of happening, the reshaking of the Carolina Panthers into maybe a direction that is more of a football team and less of an unsuccessful football team. All right, then we have the Colts versus the Titans, and this one was tough for me. I obviously had to give the edge to the Titans because right now, if you're looking at Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry, give me Derrick Henry, I think. I think the Colts still trying to figure out their way. I don't know if they're a team that they thought they were going to be after last year just not making the playoffs. So I'm going to give the edge to the Tennessee Titans there. Leading us to the Raiders-Texans game, I think Lovie Smith, and he's got his guys firing on all cylinders, trying to be the best team that they can be despite the organizational flaws that they have. Now, get Jack Easterby out of town. Maybe gives a little motivation for the boys. And they get a game here. Maybe. Now you have Devontae Adams and the things he's gone through. He's ready to shift his focus on to football again. Does that mean Devontae Adams is going to go for 200 yards? Even if he does, are the coaches going to make the right decision to ultimately win that game? That's why this game was a little challenging for me. But ultimately, had to go with the Houston Texans. I think Lovie Smith has got those boys trending in a direction that is positive. I think the Raiders still trying to figure out how to put all these pieces together that are talented. You know, a lot of high expectations on the Raiders. Yeah, they should have been a good football team. And it's just not quite coming together yet. So, I think you got to see where it goes. But ultimately, I'm giving the edge to the Houston Texans. I think they will pull this game out. Now, we switch down to Miami. Tua, he's been at the center of every article that has come out over the last couple of weeks because his brain got scrambled on a football field, and then they put him back into the game and let him play, and then let him play again and again throughout the week in practice, and then in the next game where he got his brain scrambled again. But it does appear that Tua is all the way back, because he's been cleared of the concussion protocol. He feels good. He's come out and talked about, being unconscious and not remembering stuff after, I believe the second concussion. But glad to see he has recovered from that. I hope that the refs, his offensive line, his coaching staff, they keep him protected the best he can. And I'm excited to see Tua grow in the current NFL. But Mike Tomlin's got those boys playing again, pulling in all the same direction. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Kenny Pickett has cleared the concussion protocol, but give me a healthy Tua and the boys over the Steelers. Okay? Over the Steelers, that's who I'm going with, and I'm sticking with it. Then we got the Jets in the Mile High, and you know what? Even after talking about it, Robert Saleh benching Elijah Moore requesting for a trade even though they've been winning, and he doesn't think he's been getting enough targets, which is fair. What have you been doing with the targets that have been coming your way? But also, hey, I want to be targeted more. Not going to be playing. You got Russell Wilson, who's also all the way back. Don't know if you saw his new commercial, but pretty extravagant, pretty awesome. Russell Wilson leaning into his villain character style. It's pretty great. Going to make for another great Colleens Cookies video as well. So, despite that, I do think the Jets trug along a little more and get one more victory in the Mile High. They're going to grind it out and figure out a way to get it done. Really looking for the Green Bay Packers to bounce back this week after last week. I think it happens. Taylor Heineke, he's excited to get his start, feels more confident, comfortable. Hopefully not too confident and comfortable back there. Hopefully the Packers defense can make some noise. They struggled in this regard. Hopefully they can stop the run, get some pressure on the quarterback, and those defensive backs can do what the defensive backs do. Now, that being said, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a big game, open it up, spread the field. He's going to pretty much be able to do whatever he wants out there, and I hope that includes running the ball. But that is why I took the Green Bay Packers. I think you're going to find it to be, the running backs probably have 200 yards combined rushing, and I think Packers fans are going to be excited with what they see, and that's being an optimistic Packers fan, but also, being a person that takes my 12-leg parlay very, very seriously. So, moving on over to Lions-Cowboys, I think Dak in his first game back, he struggles a little bit, and I think Dan Campbell, TC Campbell, Motor City Dan, DC Dan, I think he's going to get the boys right. I think they're going to make some noise. I think the Lions steal this one from the Cowboys, who really got the job done in terms of what they needed to do with Dak being out. So we'll see how the Cowboys do, but I don't think they're going to get the win this week. That's just me. And it's going to be devastating. And you know what? Jerry Jones might have spoke something into existence, because when they do lose this game, what do you think that's going to cause because of Dak being the quarterback this week? A quarterback controversy, maybe? It's nothing. It's a little Dr. Evil. All right, let's wrap these up here. All right, we have Giants against the Jaguars. Obviously, the Giants they're so hot right now, Hansel. So, you got to go Giants there over the Jags. Then, we got Falcons, Bengals. Let's take it. All right, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, I think they got the connection back rolling again. I think they look to carry that through another week of football. I think they get locked in here. I would probably say 2 touchdowns for Jamar Chase, if I had to guess. And I think the Bengals pull it out in Cincy. Then we have the last 2 games here. Kansas City Chiefs over at the 49ers. I don't believe Christian McCaffrey is going to play, and for that reason alone, I'm going with Kansas City. It's not that reason alone, but, obviously there's Patty Mahomes, other things that go into that, but those are the reasons why I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think Geno's got them boys rolling. Up in Seattle, they go down to Los Angeles to play the Chargers. I don't think it's going to matter for Geno. I think they kind of got a plan that's working very well for him. They got a quarterback who seems very confident in himself, seems like a good guy, team player type of stuff. Happy Russell Wilson's out of town. I think the Seattle Seahawks are a team you should probably be a little more worried about than probably what people are. And I think they're going to go down and get it over Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I think they actually do. And that completes our Scotty O's Football Sunday 12-leg parlay presented by Future Sponsor. And that kind of wraps it up for the daily show here. We have our 12-leg. We went 8-4 last week. We're looking to get better this week, and we think we have identified some teams. We have identified some patterns. We know who the pretenders and the contenders are at this point. And we're going to have a great Football Sunday. We're going to, put a unit on that bet, and we're all going to win together is what I think. But if we don't, we'll recap it on Monday. We'll see where we went wrong. We'll learn. We'll get better. But we're going to go out there. We're going to play our hardest, make our gambles, make our bets, and we'll be back Monday morning ready to talk it all over, see where we went right, see where we went wrong, and we can't wait to do it. But before that happens, we hope you have the best weekend of the rest of your life, this upcoming one. So, thank you. We will see you guys later.